Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back. Or if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the things that I have been sewing this past week, including this mock-up of the Simplicity S8832. So this is a faux wrap pattern that come in sizes 6 to 12 and 14 to 22. I selected the size 14 to 22 based on my measurements. And as you can see, you have different sleeve variations as well as skirt variations as well, and the pattern comes with the sash. So I will say that this pattern have quite a bit of ease. You all know I have been on a weight loss journey, and so I have lost quite a bit in the way of my upper bust as well as my hips. And so I did have to go down a size. And so I'm trying to figure out if that's due to my weight loss or due to the pattern. So I did go down from the size 16 to the size 14, which is really unusual for me. Even starting out at the size 16 is kind of unusual for me. I'm usually sewing a 18 or a 20, even sometimes a 22. But I will say that this pattern, the size 16 starts at a 41 inch for the bust, and that's usually around what I'm choosing anyway. But the size 14 is a 39 inch. And so I think I may have went down a couple of inches. And part of that might also be due to the way that the pattern is crafted. So I'm still trying to figure out how much ease it is. So far, I really love this pattern. I love the coverage on the neckline here. So as you see it presented on the model, that's what you're going to get, which I really love. Sometimes you go into these projects not knowing if you need to raise the neckline or not, but the pattern has quite a bit of room up in the upper chest area. And so I really love that about the pattern. And like I said, it's phenomenal. It does give you that coverage that you will need. So I didn't do any changes to the neckline. This is the coverage that you're seeing. This is the size 16. And as you can see, I did create a little peplum. I didn't do the full skirt. I just did a little peplum to make sure that the skirt does fit. I also created the sleeve because I wanted to make sure that I didn't need to do a bicep adjustment. And usually I don't need to do a bicep adjustment on a sleeve that has gathers on the shoulder head, especially if the sleeve is meant to be kind of like a bishop sleeve. And the long variation there is a semi-bishop sleeve. And so you do have quite a bit of room. It does flare out a little bit at the bottom. And so I knew I wasn't going to have to do too much in the way of a bicep adjustment. So I was really happy about that. Now, the pattern does call for you to line the bodice. I decided not to do that. The pattern comes with two pieces that they call interfacings, and you're going to cut interfacing with those pieces. So it's the front neckline and the back neckline pieces that are supposed to be interfaced. So instead of using those pieces as interfacings, I actually use them as facings. And I did attach interfacing to those facing pieces that I have created. They're very similar to any facing pieces that you see for a front and a back neckline. Again, they are intending for you to use those pieces to stabilize the front and the back neckline. The intent is to use the lining pieces to give you a lined bodice area. Now, you don't get a lining for the skirt, but again, I decided not to even deal with the lining because I didn't want to waste any extra fabric. So instead, I just used the interface pieces as my facing pieces, and I'll share with you my wearable mock-up that I created after this one here. So this is the wearable muslin of the Simplicity 8832. So as you can see, I went with the shorter sleeve, and also instead of elasticating the front, I just elasticated the back, and I'll turn it around so you can see what it looks like in the back. This is without the sash. I did create the sash for it, and I will share with you what that looks like here in a moment as well. Something that I forgot to mention is that the pattern calls for pleating. So you have pleating at the shoulder and also pleating on the lower edge of the front bodice as well. So you can't really see it because the fabric that I chose is very busy. And this is a rayon challis fabric that was purchased from Hobby Lobby. And I purchased about 2 3/4 yards of it. And I was able to get a short dress. So this is a dress that is right below the knee. I was able to get the sash, the short sleeves, as well as the two facing pieces that I told you about that I created with this look here. So that was 2 3/4 yards of fabric there. I'm going to go ahead and turn it around so you can see the back, and then I will put the sash on so that you can see the sash as well. Something else that I forgot to mention here is that the sleeves and also the hem of the dress needs to be finished. I haven't finished those things yet. After I close out the video, I'll finish those, and then I will select my final fabric, and I'll share with you some of the choices that I am thinking about for my final fabric. So here's what it looks like in the back. Again, you can't really see the gathering because the fabric is so busy. I'll try to put an image here so you can see close-ups and details of the garment. I'll get a little bit closer so that way you can see all those beautiful details that come with the pattern. I'm going to go ahead and put the sash on, and then you can see what it looks like with the sash. And here is how it looks with the sash. Again, really hard to see because the fabric is just so busy, but I will go ahead and make sure that I put that image here so you can see what it looks like. So now let's talk about the second thing that I have been sewing. So here we have the second thing that I have been sewing, and this is the Simplicity S9707 or the Simplicity S9708. They're both the same pattern. You just have two different sizes. And I purchased this one first because I thought that I would need it for my biceps, because usually patterns don't usually fit me in the bicep, especially shirt patterns. But this one has quite a bit of ease, and so I had to go down to this pattern here, and I think I selected the size 16 or 18 or something like that because it is pretty size inclusive. So, and it is easy to sew. It says that it's easy to sew. It's fairly easy to sew. And so I really did enjoy this here. Now, my intentions going into this project, I knew that I wanted to make a dress or a duster slash dress. And so I went ahead and I lengthened my pattern. And I'll go ahead and share with you what that looks like on the side here, because you can't see in this landscape view, you can't see the bottom. So I will make sure that I put an image here so you can see what that looks like. So the first attempt with the mock-up, I just lengthened it by 2 inches just to see if it'll drop below my knee, because as you can see here, you do have some longer options here. So I just wanted to see if I can actually have it drop below my knee. And so that's what I did. As you notice here, you have a drop shoulder, so you don't have to worry too much about setting in your sleeves. It's really easy to put those sleeves on because you have a drop shoulder. You do have a collar, but you don't have a collar stand, so that's really nice and easy. And then you also have a front that has buttons, but you don't have a button placket. So you do have some very easy options here if you want to get into sewing collars and also putting buttons on your garments. This would be a really easy one to go with. Now, as far as the sleeve, you do have 2 different options here. You can do a thin band on the lower edge of your sleeve or a wide band. So for my final variation, I decided to go with the wide band, and I'll share with you what that final variation looked like here in a moment. On your sleeve, you do have 2 pleats on your sleeve, and that is towards like the back of your garment there. And I will say that the sleeve bands, I don't think that they were designed to fit around the sleeve. I'm having some issues with the sleeve band, and so I kind of hit a standstill, and I'm in the process of figuring out what I want to do with my sleeves. So with that said, let me go ahead and share with you the final variation that I have been working on. So here's the final variation. It's in the process of being completed here. I chose this beautiful blue and white striped fabric that I purchased from Joann. It is a cotton poplin fabric that has a little bit of stretch on the crosswise of the grain. I do like it. I do. I'll share with you some details. I did some top stitching on the collar as well as on the shoulder and also on the back yoke. And I think I might even do some top stitching around the sleeve as well. I absolutely do like it, but it is a little bit stiff. I think I should have went with a fabric that's less stiff. I did lengthen it and it does go below my knee, and I also created a belt for it. Let me share it with you what the belt looks like. So this is what it looks like with the belt on. As you can see, it cinches in the waist a little bit more, so that's why I decided to choose to make a belt for it. Let me go ahead and switch camera views, and I'm going to go ahead and go over to the table so you can see what I'm talking about in terms of the sleeve cuff and the problems that I'm having with the sleeve cuff. Everything else on the inside, I mean, it's really nice. It's polished. I just need to put the buttons on and the cuffs and it will be done. I even completed the hem, which is really strange for me because I usually do the hem last because I hate doing hems. But everything's done. I just have to put the buttons and the buttonholes on and do the cuff. But I just I'm at a standstill with the cuff because I don't know what I want to do. So let me share with you what I'm talking about. Okay, so here we are with the shirt. I just want to share with you some of the details, how it looks on the inside. So you do have this yoke that goes on the inside, and the yoke in the back, so it does come forward just slightly. I did some top stitching on there, but it does come forward just slightly. Here's the collar here. There's some top stitching on the collar. And I think I want to do some top stitching here as well on the shoulder seam here, or the sleeve seam, I should say. So I'm thinking about doing that. And then the front, I just did one line of stitching going all the way down. I was thinking about doing another line close to the edge. I'm not sure yet. And then here's the bottom of the hem. I think the hem is 7/8 of an inch wide. So that's the hem. And the markings, I just need to wash out all those markings there. This is the problem that I'm having with the sleeve here. The cuff isn't long enough for this. And so I haven't decided what I want to do about that. I might do my trusty loop and button closure, or I might just go ahead and get some more fabric and make a longer cuff. I haven't decided yet, but that's where I'm at with this project here. And so far, I really like it, but I want to try it in a rayon fabric. I feel like it will drape more nicely and be a little bit more for what I'm going for. So that's what I'm doing with this project here. Now, let me share with you real quickly before I close out the video what I intend on doing for this here, like my final project for this. And maybe you all can help me select the right fabric. I don't know. So I have these two fabrics, and they've both been washed because I have been wanting to sew with these for some time. Now, this fabric here, I was intending on using it for this to make that dress that I was telling you all about. And that was on my sewing plans list for last month, but I'm not sure if I'm committed to using this fabric for this because I will have about a yard of fabric left, and I just don't want to waste this fabric here. If I'm just making a shirt dress, and I calculated even if I were to make a long maxi version, I still will have quite a bit of fabric left. So I don't know if I want to waste my fabric just to make a shirt. So I may go ahead and make this dress with it because I can get more out of the fabric this way. The other option was this fabric here for this as well, or I may even do both. I don't know. I really do like this pattern. It's a really nice pattern. It's very similar to the Simplicity. I think it's 9041, which is another one of my favorite wrap patterns, which I have done reviews on, and I have told you all before that I absolutely love that pattern because that pattern also gives you coverage. You do have to put a few snaps on that one, but it's still nonetheless a really beautiful pattern, and it's very similar to this one. This one, you do have the gathering on the shoulder head, you have the different sleeve options, you have, it's just, I think it's a nicer pattern because you have more options, as well as the tie pattern is a little bit different on this one as well. It's a little bit wider. And so if you want something like that, I think this would probably be a better pattern. Both of them sew really well, and I recommend both of them. So yeah, you guys let me know in the comment section below which one of these I should choose for this pattern here, or if I should just sew both of them. So those are the things that I have been sewing. Let me know in the comment section below what you've been sewing, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye.